Yo, what up? In this video, here's what I can tell you as a beginner learning in public about my experiences so far. Because I don't know if I would say that I took a slow crawl approach to posting and creating videos and sharing them online. At the time that I had posted in October, I had just made the decision after years of doubt and hesitation to just get over it, post, and continue to post as much as I could after that. At the time of the posting in October, I was going through the end of a relationship, but also, right at the beginning of an international move at the time. I say that to give some context because I think it definitely affected my introduction or kind of my start to posting and sharing on these platforms. So I thought I would break it down by like chapters and a takeaway from each chapter based on my reflection so far. So chapter 1, volume without direction hasn't worked. And the takeaway that I can share is that posting a lot is not building something without having some kind of direction. What I mean is that volume without direction hasn't exactly produced the desired outcome up to this point. I know from the beginning, I've never really defined an audience, and I've watched and gone down the rabbit hole of, how do you start a channel? How do you build a brand or build your identity online? But I never really identified who I'm talking to in these videos, whether me a few years ago, me in the future, me currently. I think that has definitely affected, how things have started off. And at the beginning, I definitely assumed that consistency or just kind of like showing up and posting would carry me and get me to a point where I envisioned. I think consistency alone, is not enough. I can't say that when I started, I had done a whole bunch of research about videos or channels and what makes them good. Obviously, haven't seen the growth and improvement that I had hoped for. In a movie that I watched recently, there was a quote that said, "Hope isn't a strategy." And it definitely resonated with me as I was thinking about this video and where I've come from and kind of where I'm at now, this whole kind of creating and trying to be more visible online. I do know that one thing that maybe I have adhered to or kind of followed a little bit throughout scrolling and kind of exploring YouTube at times is that I really don't have a niche. I can't even confidently say that I've created enough content to suggest that I am the niche. I feel like a lot of what I'm posting collectively as a body of work so far is a bit directionless. There's no real clear aim or purpose about why someone would want to revisit and come back to my page or profile. I don't know, honestly, what would they be looking forward to watching. I know that it's a bit scattered and, lacks forethought or vision. I can definitely say that up until now, even as recent as last night, I think a lot of what is happening is me coming home at night and just kind of telling myself, oh, when I get home at night from work, what can I make a video about? I don't know. Maybe some people are able to do that. Maybe that is sustainable, but at least for what I'm observing, I don't think that's the approach to have. It definitely hasn't allowed me to gain any momentum in the direction that, I would hope for, because for me, what I may think and justify as semi-consistent frequency of posting, it lacks any real consistent direction of the content. And right now I'm just throwing stuff at YouTube or Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok and Rednote and hoping that something catches wind and sticks with the people watching. I don't know, maybe you do get lucky, maybe one catches fire, but at this point, these are what I'm noticing after basically almost 4 months of trying to do this. Chapter 2. Emotion became the product. What I've taken away so far is that people don't care about your personal problems. And when you don't choose the story or topic or direction that you want to talk about, when you get on camera, your emotions will choose it for you. What I have learned, especially in the beginning when I was going through some really heavy waves of emotions and feelings, is that emotion alone does not retain viewers' attention. Just speaking on emotion doesn't always provide value, and value isn't just information. It's clarity, it's allowing the people watching to resonate with what your thoughts or ideas are, or even, following a transformation in the process along the way. I know when I was talking with a lot of emotion or feeling and just trying to yap it away on those shorts and kind of those short form videos, viewers or kind of people watching, didn't really know what they were signing up for. And it's just this kind of constant cycle of, oh, who is this person? What are they posting? And maybe if there was a follower or two, like they don't know what they're going to get from me if I'm going to be posting every other day, essentially. And I think that's a bit risky if they don't really know what they're going to be watching. It's not like you can just, oh, what's on the menu today? And just kind of be surprised or entertained by that, and just hoping that something that you make is going to grab their attention and keep them around. At the beginning of all of this, I mentioned that I was going through a lot emotionally. It was because it was the end of a relationship. I was really trying to understand and navigate all of these feelings and, emotions that I hadn't really experienced before. And that definitely leaked and spilled over into the content or the video, the communication that I was, sharing within those videos. I'm not saying that it was inappropriate, because I don't think it was anything out of the ordinary of what somebody might experience or will experience in a relationship. I know that I was speaking and carrying so much of that emotional weight. It carried a presence on camera and it could be felt. That might not have been exactly what people want to listen to or follow. And I get that. Like, I wouldn't blame them. But at the same time, like, just at that point in my life, and even now at times, like, that's just who I was and who I am, or what I was going through. Like, if I had it all figured out and shit, like, be better, or I would know what to do, but I didn't. So that's kind of how I responded to the situation. Whether it was good or bad, it was definitely a learning opportunity and something that I can carry with me moving forward. I was at the beginning, for sure, fishing for some kind of connection, like just feeling so lonely and empty here. I definitely try to put myself out there online to just try to find somebody or some people to connect with, to just get away from this broken and empty feeling that I had been experiencing while moving to a new country and ending something long term. It is what it is. Like, that's who I was at the time. Maybe I could have packaged it better, or I could have communicated my ideas and thoughts better. And looking back, I definitely probably would do something different, but I'm not going to regret or wish that I had changed anything. Chapter 4, going fast or going smart. I think what I've been learning and struggling with, or kind of balancing and weighing these past 4 months, essentially, I'm kind of torn between this idea of slowing down and maybe killing momentum, feeling like if I slow down, I feel like I'd be wasting time. On the flip side, I'm also scared that speeding up or just continuing to try to go fast is going to hardwire some bad habits that won't allow me to really acknowledge any kind of reflection about how to get better. One of the hardest parts about posting is that there's a variety of things when it comes to creating and being on camera and editing and scripting that I'm just really not good at. It gets to a point where you kind of have to ask yourself, like, okay, well, there are a lot of things that I'm not really strong at yet, because there's such a big learning curve. What is one thing that is absolutely necessary that if I fixed it, or if I spent more time being intentional about improvement in this area, will I see the biggest return? And I think for me, that's definitely storytelling. I know that I'm not the greatest or most interesting storyteller. I wanted to really improve in the next few months about how to tell better stories. I feel so rushed to push out quantity under the impression that if I just brute force this effort to create and post and upload, eventually they'll get better over time. Like, these videos, this content will get better over time. I do think that approach is a bit flawed. If I really want to see growth in the areas that I hope for, whether it be storytelling, engagements, building an audience, or finding my corner of the internet, it does require a little bit more reflection and intentionality, which is hard to do when you feel like you're on a timeline. You want to improve and become this person that you envision for yourself, because this voice in your head is just telling you, like, oh, it's getting late, you're getting old, you're competing against all these really great creative people that are just miles and miles and years ahead of you. And there is a sense of kind of overwhelming discouragement about even catching up or trying to get to a point that you're happy with or kind of meets your expectations about where you think you should be. And it's just this battle between, do I be reflective and slow down the creating process? Or is that just going to be time wasted from the experience I could gain from picking up failures and L's and trying to improve them based off of quantity rather than quality? If there's one thing that I can really say, it's that there's no real shortcuts to all of this. I hate to admit this, but I've been stuck at single digit, basically 6 and 9 followers on Instagram since October. A big part of my ego has been absolutely crushed by this reality that from essentially almost 70 posts at this time, or 70 pieces of content that I've uploaded and shared, I am still stuck in single digits, less than 100, less than 200 views per video. I am absolutely terrified of this idea of posting 100 pieces of stuff online and still being stuck at single digit followers. People had said, oh, like it's gonna be lonely at the beginning, you're not gonna be good. Like I'm really starting to believe that now. Like I totally see it, but I never envisioned like, hey, that's actually gonna be me. Like I actually thought like I might have a little bit of success, but to post almost 100 pieces of stuff and be stuck at single digits, that's tough. And I have debated about just starting or creating a new account and be like, yo, like what the hell, just do it. Like what does it even matter? Like nobody even noticed. But then the other part of me is thinking, no, you know what, like you stick through it, like you stick through all the shitty videos and the shitty times, and when you do become something, or maybe when this does happen to grow a little bit, you look back and remember how shitty you felt and how lonely it was to be at the bottom of the barrel. I don't know, I really don't know how much difference it would make to just create a new account. I think part of me is just trying to justify or convince myself that I was dealt a bad hand at Instagram or with Instagram. I don't think it's just me being unlucky. I think that the metrics and the analytics suggest that maybe things aren't very good right now. Yeah, I do not want to post 100 pieces of stuff and be stuck. At the end, I think the last chapter, at least in this video, is what changes now. I think there are two things that I really wanted to come away with, and that is to communicate and tell better stories, but also be more intentional about why people would come back. What is the reason? What are they coming back for? Because trying not to consume so much of other people's content, I just kind of want to do it my way, but I also know that there's a better way to do things than just what I'm interpreting or perceiving. I really just want to be myself. I understand that part of having a presence online or having an audience, like there is an element of being performative to an extent. In the same capacity, like we're performative at work, and the thing in our job that we do, on a daily basis, that we play a character to an extent for the work that we do. But at the same time, I just don't want to compromise too much of myself and who I am. I think at the end of the day, like we all hope to be and feel appreciated and welcomed into a community or group of people that appreciates who we are without feeling like we have to fit a mold or character and conform to a version of ourselves that we don't fully recognize or identify with. I'm hopeful that I'll get there someday and kind of figure things out. Thanks for sticking around. I mean, the raw video of this is about 20 minutes, so this is gonna suck editing, but I guess that's what happens when you avoid trying to do long form content and talk to the camera. I really want to face this and just get it out of the way so I can find a rhythm and get better at this, because it is not easy, and the only way to get better is practice. So thanks for sticking around. I hope to see you next time. Hit that follow. Thanks a lot, everyone. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.